welcome to our channel. It's a beautiful sunny day, and I have my colleagues Shikha and Varsha with me. And we have a guest who is all the way from Dehradun, Miss Surbi Arora. So, welcome, Surbi, to the channel. It's a great pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
It's
so
a
before we go,
pleasure here. Thank you so much.
yeah, so before we go ahead, I would just like to introduce a little about Surbi. She's a lady who dons many hats together. She is an economist, she is a painter, a writer, and an RJ, the latest, I think that's right. Wow, that's great. So,
Yes, yes.
Surbi, now, over to you. We would like you to tell us more about yourself to the audience.
Okay. So where do I start?
You start
Okay.
with,
So
yeah, the
I,
basic, you do so many things. So tell us one to one, one by one about it there.
sure, sure. Um, as per my academic background, both my parents had started their career with being teachers. My father later moved on with ONGC, and my mom was a headmistress in a school. So all our vacations were spent during our childhood reading books. It was a torture for us at that time that we have to read so much. And then they used to, ask questions about what you have read, what in literature, Hindi literature, English, all of that got to our heads. In a way, that defined a lot of things about me, and that's how I developed the knack of, reading a lot. And during my
Okay.
school days, I remember we used to have a library period and we used to get one book for a week. But what I did was that as a special condition, I used to take books from my teacher's library cards also. So I
Okay.
used to get, yes, 7 books for 7 days of the week. That kind of thing also I've done. Because if
So you
I
could
used
read
to,
one book a day. Was that possible?
it was at that
Wow.
time, not anymore. And I would, whenever I used to pick up a book, I would not keep it down till I had finished it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd finished most of the fiction during my school days only, and after that I developed my thinking towards non-fiction. So after that, till date, I only read non-fiction, mostly
Mm-hmm.
autobiographies, and only in fiction I read Polo Polo. That's been my
Okay.
favorite till
Mm-hmm.
date. So that's how the reading started, and that's how the academic thing was always there. And then I started my college, and then went ahead to do my CA, but I did only 3/4 of it, did not give the last exam. And then for some time I started working in a private public limited company. It was Himalaya International Limited. Now it is Himalaya International. Earlier it was Himalayan Calcium and Carbonate Limited. So we had changed the name and changed the shareholding patterns and all that. So I did the work of a CS at that time for 6 years. And then I moved on to be a project manager in another company. There they were into welding equipment, so I used to take care of all the financial aspects related to the project at that time. So another 6 years went by that, and I was not a postgraduate at that time. And then my mom was after me, "Ki, you should do your post graduation." And by her coaxing, I did my MA in economics, I did my B.Ed at that time only on her this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, during that period, because of my MA in economics, I got to start working in law college here, Unison Law
Okay.
College. There I was for almost 1.5 years, and I had left school. And one of my friends had moved to UPS.
Okay.
So, and yeah, and in 2007, she introduced me to the dean of law college. So
Mm-hmm.
he had, invited me, and then I thought, okay, let me try this too. So in 2007, the law college in UPS started. You were
Mm-hmm.
there. So that was the time when I started my journey with UPS, and it was an
Okay.
amazing journey. I learned a lot. I mean, most of the things that I know today, I owe it all to UPS. I mean,
Wow.
all kind of, no, actually, ma'am, this is really to,
Mm-hmm.
convey to everyone that most of the things that I have learned in my life, I owe it to UPS, be it administration, be it, management styles, the
Mm-hmm.
leadership things, all
Okay.
that I'm a good observer. So I
Okay.
kept on observing all of you, sir, Mr. Sanjay called, all of those, the core team who were there. I was, looking at how they are doing, and that's how I picked up a lot of things there. And then I had then moved to Delhi as the managing editor and senior vice president for a finance journal, international finance journal by the name of Securitization Asia. So that was a time when I got into skill development. I used to write proposals for people because for my CA background, that was quite easy. So I did a lot of that, and then I joined two startups as a director there. And I had gone to Mumbai for some meeting with one of the directors to meet some other people who were there. And there I was offered this job of skill development, and I never came back. So I actually, yes, this was just after the demonetization phase. And I went to Mumbai with just four pair of clothes, one night suit, and my laptop. That was it. And then I stayed with one of those directors who was there, my mentor, Dr. Pandey, and his wife, Dr. Nalini. They were there. I stayed with them for a month, and that's how I got this job through them. And then I took a place of my own near their house only, and I stayed there for till the lockdown. So that's how things were. And just before the lockdown, I was offered 2, 3 jobs in Mumbai because I had completed 3 years with that organization, and I was just looking for something else now, just to for growth purpose. And I had left that organization, and I was about to join another. I mean, I had to decide between those two which I would join, and that depended on the face-to-face interview, which had to be held in April. So lockdown happened, so I could not go there. So now I came back to Dehradun, and then we just started something of our own with test consulting. And during that time only, this Leela Foundation CEO, he got in touch with me, and then he asked me to be the lead zonal director for a few states in north and western side of India, because they have their presence on the east side and on the southern side. So said, "Okay," so that's how it was.
Wow,
That's
so
how
that's
we were
exactly
ready
why
till
I
now.
say, your journey has been so inspiring. And I think, your quote that you say that achievement and, if you are, if you have to achieve something, you have to be very consistent with your work. And
Yes,
that speaks for
yes,
yourself. And that are the pillars of your achievement. I think that was one line
exactly,
that I read about
exactly.
you. Yes, and that was
Yes,
very captivating. And I think, that actually explains your journey across with so many things.
yes,
So that's
yes,
amazing, and that's very inspiring
And
also.
that is how we have with a superwoman to do.
Superwoman. That is why we give you a
yes,
title of
absolutely.
Superwoman.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
No, in fact, I feel every one of us is a superwoman. Every woman
yes,
is a superwoman in their own ways. So I
absolutely. I
believe
totally
that, and
agree.
it's just that I mean, some discover it, some will take some time to discover it.
No,
That's
but
how it
yes,
is.
I would, yes, to add to it, I would say that women have a lot of strength. They actually, there's so many of
Yes,
hidden talents. Give them a break and they, just, spread their wings
yes,
and they take off. So it's like amazing.
absolutely.
Yes. So
Yes,
coming on a serious
absolutely.
note, Subi, now we would come to like to know a few things from you. So what do you explain that GDP is to a layman? How will you explain the term GDP?
Okay. GDP, in layman terms, it means that whatever output is there in a country in 1 year time, if we add it all up, it will simply say this is the GDP. And if
Okay.
we compare it with the previous years, we will see if there is an increase in the output
Okay.
compared to previous year, there is an
Mhm.
increase in the GDP.
Okay.
So this is in layman terms.
Yeah.
So we can, actually measure it in different terms also. We can also consider the income levels of the people from
Okay.
different
Hmm.
uh, services or manufacturing or whatever. If we add up their income, that also we can calculate the GDP in simple terms.
Okay. So this is just a simple way of putting, that you have
Yes.
your, or, the country's total, the output of the country, and that is how you compare it with the different previous years, and
Yes.
that is how you come to know the inflation or the deflation into it. Right. Perfect. I think that was
Yes.
just a
Inflation
perfect
is
way
a
of
little
understanding. Yes.
inflation is a little different in the sense, suppose you produce something produce certain number of goods. Suppose there are 100
Mhm.
goods which are produced last year,
Yeah.
and we are producing 120 goods in the current year.
Mhm.
Okay, now we take the total, we multiply the value with the quantity, we get a number, a
Okay.
figure, an amount. So if we compare the amount from previous to current year, we see that output has increased from 100 to 120. So there is an increase in the
Okay.
this thing, but they that may not reflect the real increase in GDP, because at the
Okay.
same time the 100 which you had produced last year,
Mhm.
their price may have increased in the current year.
Okay. Okay.
So
Got
we
it.
have to then, cut down on that base level and come to that base level and see how much is the real increase in the GDP. And that's how we actually measure the economic welfare of the people, their standard of living, whether it
Okay.
has increased or come down or
Mhm.
whatever.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds great. So now, how will you explain the economic scenario in the, in today's time?
Yeah, today, if we see the recession in the past, and if
Mhm.
we have to compare it with the current scenario, previous recessions were due to fall of investment and exports.
Mhm.
So this is for the general understanding. Now uh, this decrease in the GDP or the whole economic scenario, which appears to be bleak, is because the consumption, which was the backbone of any economy, it has
Yeah.
come down
Okay.
to a large extent because of lockdowns all across the world.
Mhm.
So it is said that in the South Asia, the total consumption has decreased by 10%, which is
Okay.
huge if we
Mhm.
consider it.
Mhm.
So this private consumption is a core indicator of economic welfare of the people. If people are spending, that means they
Mhm.
have money, but the
Yeah.
people are not spending, so there is no money which is there for them to spend. And economic scenario has gone so worst because I've seen people real here who are keeping their jewelry and running their houses,
Mhm.
no,
Yes.
taking
Yes.
loans and running their houses. So this kind of situation has got a little, I mean, I would say it's an alarming state right now.
Yes.
If nothing is done in the current moment to help these people, it will go to worse. Our poverty levels have increased, they have spiked
Mhm.
in the last few months.
Mhm.
Yes.
And obviously the problems relating to poverty, because as poverty increases, we see there's an increase in the crime rate.
Mhm. Absolutely.
People, if they're not able to satisfy their needs legitimately, they will find some illegitimate way to
Ways to do it.
do that. So that is something which is real alarming, and this kind of recession will take some more years to bring bring the economy back to its normal case.
What do
As
you
per the
predict? How
India
much of
ratings,
Yeah, so how much of time do you, I mean, on your account, you predict will, take to for the
Everything fall
economy
back.
to come back?
Bounce back.
um, see, if you ask me personally, I would say it would take at least 4 to 7 years.
Oh, really? That long?
4 to 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because generally 7 year is the cycle. So 4 to 7 years could be the time where the economy could actually come to the normal way.
Okay.
After all, kind of like, I'll just tell you one thing. What happened between US, if we compare US and Indian economy, in US gave a lot of incentives and relief
Mm-hmm.
for their benefit of their economy. In
Mm-hmm.
India, what happened was the relief which was given was not sufficient.
Okay.
So the people are impacted more in this, and there is going to be a ripple over effect of
Okay.
certain things, which we may not right now be able to assess it to that
Okay.
extent. So
Mm-hmm.
that ripple over effect will come again in the economy, and that is why I'm saying it will take at least 4 to 7 years to get to the recovery path.
Mm-hmm.
And till date, the vaccine is still, we haven't got it.
Yes.
And WHO reports also say that COVID is here to stay. It's just like any
Mm-hmm.
other
Yes.
virus, and it will stay. So we don't know how long it will go, and we can't keep everything locked down. And as the lockdowns are lifted, we see a increase in cases. I remember when initially in March, we were seeing the cases increasing in US to 30,000. That was a huge, big number at that
Yeah.
time. And we used to, wonder how you know, I mean, it's we just can't say when this thing will stop.
Yeah.
And this is a virus, so we don't know. And just 2 days back, I read a report which says it's a WHO report which says that even if a person has recovered from COVID, he will still carry the symptoms for next 90 days. So he can still affect the people for 90 days more. So that's really alarming.
That's
So
really
I
a lot.
don't know this thing can be, controlled.
No, absolutely. I agree completely. COVID-19 has been so unseen and the effects have been tremendous. But I feel, I think skill development is one thing which is actually, come up. Earlier we were not,
Yeah.
too much into skill development, but now we are actually looking at as a very positive side of COVID-19. So how would you say about skill
Yes.
development?
See, right now, Prime Minister is insisting on becoming Atmanirbhar and all that.
Yes.
But my personal observation is that in skill development, there are certain flaws. I'll
Mhm.
just mention one basic flaw. I
Yeah.
mean, all skill development projects have an SOP according to which
Yes.
we have to,
Mhm.
follow that. So, just 3 years back, when I got into skill development, I did a lot of research on that. At that time, the trained to place ratio all across India was 34%. Those
Okay.
were the numbers. And the SOP said that the train to placement ratio for the project implementation agency who are undertaking those government projects has to be 70%.
Okay.
So, which is like more than
More
100%.
More than
So,
that.
now imagine the problem at the grassroots level. So, nobody is understanding the grassroots problem. I worked in a state of Gujarat, and unfortunately, what happened was that this ratio, if we keep it that way,
Mhm.
the Gujarat government, what they do is if the project implementation agency is not able to achieve those targets, they close down the projects and they sign new MOUs. So
Okay.
new people come, they face the same problems as the
Mhm.
older ones, so they are not addressing the root cause. So they're
Okay.
not understanding that what problems the first PIA faced. So they should try to remove those rather than,
Yes.
just closing them. And closing them means that recovering their money with interest, with a question on their reputation, with a question on their, working in other states also. Because
Mhm.
then you are labeled that your
Yes.
project was closed. So
Yeah.
those things, keeping all that in mind, I mean, skill development has certain flaws which the government should now wake up and see what is happening. And then because of COVID, all the centers closed down.
Yes.
Now they have given this this thing to open the centers with certain this thing uh,
Guidelines. Yes.
specifications.
Mhm.
Yes, other guidelines. And the problem is that most of these schemes relate to the rural areas.
Mhm.
There are people who have not even, those children have not seen a computer in their whole life. They are expected to learn computers, the compulsory mandatory part of their
Yes.
course. They have to learn spoken English. So it itself becomes a lot of challenge teaching them, training them within a period of 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, whatever. Plus the challenges from the end of the government. So those are very, I'll just share one example. A company like Apollo
Mhm.
Medicare Skills, which is that it's a huge, big company.
Yes.
When I was there in Mumbai in this year, February, we came to know that they have not paid the salaries for 3 months at that time. So imagine a company which is such a huge name, even they are suffering because of these SOPs, So a lot of documentation is there with, and on ground realities are ignored in the functioning of the PIA. So which I think the government should understand first, and then they should tell, okay, this is it. This is how we will support. There are some states which are helping.
Mhm.
Maharashtra helps. That's what I've
Okay.
seen. Andhra Pradesh, where they also listen to your problems, and
Mhm.
Orissa is doing very well in skill development.
Okay.
It is, I think, at number one.
Mhm.
Telangana is doing very well because there is support from the government. But
Okay.
certain states are not doing well because there is, lack of
Lack of
support from the government end. Yeah. So skill development, may there are grassroots problems which need to be understood from that perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So during this COVID-19 time, what do you think how skill development would come up and about? When there is there's a place where you can do physical skill development, but there are also
Yeah.
places where you can do virtual skill developments. So how do you see
Mhm.
COVID-19 affecting the whole scenario?
See, COVID-19 has impacted the skill development to a huge extent. They
Mhm.
see these schemes, this the DDU-GKY scheme, which was there, it's for the rural children. They don't have access to a mobile phone, some of the places,
Yeah.
internet. So
Mhm.
how can you hold online?
Right.
Even the SOP which has come right now, it is saying that you have to hold online classes to some, not the full 100%, but some attendance has to be there.
Yes.
So imagine how can people, get that. See, in a place like Gujarat, it has well connectivity, it
Mhm.
has internet facility, everything. But a place like Andhra Pradesh, it doesn't have that connectivity in the interiors. So what
Mhm.
happens to them?
Right.
So COVID has impacted, and these children who were supposed to complete their training in 3 months and got into job. See, there is a clause there that once a child completes the training, within 1 month of his completing training, he has to be placed. And
Okay.
for another 3 months, when he's placed, he needs to be tracked by
Mhm.
the PIA.
Yeah.
And those documents of his employment need to be shared with the government. Now imagine a person who was about to finish his training in March.
Mhm.
Right.
So it's been so many months now, so he stands nowhere, he doesn't have a job, his training
Absolutely.
is not complete. So a lot of children have been affected because of this.
Okay.
No, absolutely. The ground reality is different, and what
Yes.
on the papers and we see is totally different. Absolutely.
Government is trying to do, I'm not saying that they are
Mhm.
not doing anything, but then they have to, be more sensitive towards this issue on the
Absolutely.
ground level.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
So you just spoke about that you helped set up a skill development center. Can you just tell us how did you go about it? What all did you do? How did you
What
actually
challenges came across?
yes, and how did you face them?
Yeah, a lot of challenges since day one.
Mhm.
See, this project of Gujarat, which was there, I was at that time, I had joined this company and it had been just 2 3 months. And I had joined in January, and in March, April, I was in Vizag taking care of the center there. And suddenly this Gujarat project came up, and I remember we had gone for mobilizing in some village, and it
Okay.
was 48-degree temperatures, and we were in villages, roaming around talking to people like that.
Mhm.
And then when I came back at night 11:30, I by habit I opened my laptop to check the emails and all, and I saw that the Gujarat project date was just the next day. By 10
Oh.
o'clock morning, we had to submit all the documents, and there were 278 documents which
Oh
Wow.
needed
my
to be
God.
uploaded.
Uh-huh.
So and it's a format, it's an online process which needs to
Mhm.
be done. So I checked all that, and then whatever documents I didn't have, I rang up my CEO at that time, and she was also very, sweet. She also, was awake with me almost the whole night, sending documents, calling people, this document required, all that. So we managed to complete that whole process by 4:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And finally I submitted, and then I slept for some time. And then that project was accepted. Within 10 days the government had to tell whether it's accepted or not, and then the
Okay.
qualitative appraisal happens. So
Okay.
we already had a project in Andhra Pradesh, so it was easy. So then they said suddenly, and I was in Vizag during that time,
Mhm.
and then a mail comes after 10 days that your qualitative appraisal will be held in Ahmedabad on the 10th of May. And 9th of May was my return tickets from Andhra Pradesh to Mumbai.
Okay.
Okay.
So, so it was like neck to neck. So 5 o'clock I reached Mumbai on the 9th, and early morning 8 o'clock I had a flight again to Ahmedabad.
In the world.
And during that period, I was coordinating with my team in Ahmedabad that you keep these files ready, all that. And when I reached Ahmedabad around 9:30, I was checking all those files, and we had just managed to complete everything, put
Mhm.
everything file proper, and it was like 12 o'clock, and the team comes in.
Okay.
Qualitative team from the Gujarat government, and then they were fine. In August 8th, we signed the MOU with the government to skill 1,500 students over a
Oh,
period of 3 years. So that's how it was. And then I stayed in Ahmedabad from August till December. And I set up everything. We found a location, a center, everything was like, done that time.
So to add to that question, I wanted to understand what sort of skill development do you do? Is it technical? Is it behavioral? How
Yes.
is it? What is it?
No, it is kind of, we gave training under retail sector,
Mhm.
banking sector, insurance sector, and
Okay.
in Vizag we also have hospitality sectors.
okay.
All right.
So we checked on the demand. I mean, a lot of research went before that. That which there are some districts which are allotted to you. So we did a study of the districts, which districts will have what, and what kind
Mhm.
of courses are in demand.
Okay.
We signed MOUs with the companies that they will take our students who come out.
Okay.
We had
Okay.
tie-ups with the Future Group, with banks, with insurance companies, all of that, and then we were able to place them. In Vizag, at that point of time, we were at number one. I mean, in fact, right now also they are number one in whole of
Wow.
Andhra Pradesh. So
Wow.
that's
So
how it was.
that are the
And
challenges, which are always there. And I think the challenges
there
and
are
the
challenges.
deadlines, yes, they make you,
Yes,
work better. I mean, that is my lookout to
yes,
it.
Yes. So to add to
yes,
that,
absolutely.
you go through so many of the challenges and you're doing so many things.
Yes,
So what is your guru mantra that you would like to tell everyone?
persistence. Persistence is there, and never to put your foot down. Do not compromise on your ethics. Never. Do
Absolutely.
not.
Okay. So, ma'am, as we got to know that you had a recent association with Leela Foundation. So, can you tell us about what does Leela Foundation do?
Yeah. Leela Foundation is also into education and health.
Mhm.
And we have more than 100 centers all across India, which are
Okay.
on franchisee mode.
Okay.
So currently the presence is in east and southern parts of the country.
Mhm.
Okay.
And we want to make the presence now towards the north side and the eastern side. So
Okay.
Maharashtra, Gujarat, Himachal, UP, Uttarakhand, and even J&K is my, I mean, all north is my territory that way.
Okay.
So we are building up franchisees of these, but because of the COVID, it's a little slag this
Mhm.
time. People who have invested, they are not able to recover their costs. So
Yes.
nobody is ready to invest anything at the moment.
Mhm.
So this is one challenge that I'm facing at the moment with this. But
So
otherwise, the courses are good because we are taking care of the healthcare sector under
Mhm.
Leela Foundation. So we give
Okay.
those courses, and
Okay.
Leela Foundation is the only organization in whole of India who has been allowed by NSDC to run diploma courses.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Okay.
it is
Okay.
certificate programs. So
Mhm.
Okay.
that's a big thing
That's
for that.
so it's an
Yeah.
educational program that Leela Foundation is running. So
Yes,
Plus health also.
yeah, medical healthcare in healthcare sector.
educational
Yeah,
and healthcare
yeah.
sector.
So, as we know,
yes.
ma'am, you have done different roles in the financial sector and leadership roles in all these. So, can you tell us about your journey of RJ?
Okay.
That's an
uh,
interesting thing. Yes.
yes. See, as a child, we always have some dreams. So that was the time of Doordarshan, and I used to watch those English newsreaders, and I loved them.
Uh-huh.
And my
Yes.
Okay.
favorite was Rini Khanna.
Oh, yes.
So,
Absolutely.
and I had the opportunity to meet her also just some years back in Delhi.
Okay.
So that was like always there. And when I completed my 12th, I was just 16. So I couldn't be admitted to any of such, designing, because I wanted to do designing or something like that. But I was not 18, so I was not eligible for all that. So then I thought, okay, theek hai, that dream just remained somewhere. And when I was in Mumbai, I got across, meeting this person, RJ Dilip Singh, who's the founder of Radio Adda. And once we got connected on Facebook, and then after lot of months, I actually could meet him. And I
Mhm.
told him that, what if I tell you that I want to learn RJ, voiceover acting from you? Will you laugh? He said, not at all. You should come to the class once and then let's see how it goes. So 2 years back, I went to one of his classes and I met a lot of people of more than my age. So that's how it began, and I learned that course from him. 2 months I spent, and then I became a faculty with them, and now I'm their marketing head also. So that's how the RJ journey began.
You
And
began
now
with
that
your
since I'm in Dehradun, so we thought of starting some shows.
you
Come
began
again?
your RJ journey in which
I didn't
year?
get you.
In which year did you begin your RJ journey?
2 years back,
Wow,
Oh,
that's
18,
Yes.
2018.
that's a huge
I think you should also
transition.
look for.
That's
Okay.
exactly what I was
And
saying. That,
now I'm hosting two
yeah.
shows.
Wow,
that's
that's
fabulous.
commendable.
Let us know what time and we will definitely listen to them.
And just this, because of the lockdown, I thought of taking it up more seriously in some way. So we started two shows. One is
Okay.
known as Zindagi Ki Baatein Zindagi Se, which is my personal experience on life, which I've been
Okay.
sharing. Another one is in conversation, where we get some renowned people for interviews. So it's called
Oh.
In Conversation,
Yeah.
and that's
No, I think, a journey,
passion.
from being a economist, to your achievements, and then, taking up your passions that you had since your childhood. It's amazing. That's exactly, what I was saying was that you don so many hats together and you take up everything as a challenge and you are always a learner. So, because there is no, as they say, there's no age to learn. So, every day, every time we can
Right.
learn something new, and actually they give us a different venue to our own passions in life, and and I think
Yeah,
it's a very good way to de-stress also.
absolutely.
True.
So
Very true.
Surbhi,
Right,
it was
right.
really great having you, listening to so much, and it was really inspiring to hear from you.
Definitely.
And definitely we'll catch up soon
It's a
whenever you're in
pleasure. It's a
Delhi.
pleasure.
It'll be a pleasure to catch
Sure,
up again.
sure,
And yeah, so thank you, viewers. It was
sure,
great
ma'am.
that you connected with us, and thank you,
Thank you so
Surbhi, for
much.
being with us and giving us such a beautiful insight to your
Thank
life
you.
and to your
Thank you.
passions. Thank you. Till we meet again. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Bye.